Today's
Love your station.
best
Best music.
country.
I love my country.
Country 89.
Country 89 Zoom meeting extravaganza. Welcome, my wonderful co-employees. Lovely to see you all again. It's been so long, it seems.
Yeah, good to see you too. It's been too long.
Everybody is here. Katie, how was the show this morning? I heard half of it. I was up later than usual, but
Yeah, you don't get up at 3:30 in the morning anymore?
it's a different wake-up call. I don't know how that happened.
That's just me? Oh, okay. That's
yeah.
fine.
Steph Nizzi is here from the Midday Show. Good to see you again, Steph. Well, I'm hearing you. I'm not seeing you, but I know what you look like.
I'm like, you know what? We'll just shut that video right off. Forget about it.
Didn't shower today.
It's one of those mornings. That's why I'm wearing a hat too. Pauline is here from the Afternoon Drive Show. Good to see you again. I love the flora you have behind you. What is that?
Yes, couldn't tell you what it is. I just know that it is alive.
That's good. And the man with the beard. Oh, Eric, good to see you again, man. Does it look the same under the hat as it does on the face?
Pretty well. It's too long is how I would describe it. And it's about time. I need to go get a haircut.
It's all tied up in a bun underneath your hat. I can see it. Right.
Essentially, yeah.
So we have been all off now. Well, I've been off now, it seems like forever. April was the last time I saw the studio, which looks great. Katie, you're in the giant TV studio right there. It looks wonderful behind you. I have to say, how are you guys coping with this new normal? I mean, we're all kind of thrust into this new lifestyle of being and doing. I just wanted to take a few moments to see how you guys are keeping. We have some information for you as well, incidentally, on what's happening at Country 89. There's some wonderful forward motion happening. We'll tell you about that in the coming moments. But I wanted to start off by Katie, coming in and doing a morning show every day without me. It's got to be difficult for you. You must miss me so much, I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That long.
I mean, it is a completely different job. I mean, one day I woke up and I had a different job, 100%. So you are missed, Rob. You are.
It's funny because we're all trying to cope with this new normal, and I see none of you are wearing masks. Paulina, do you have a mask right there at all? Are you concerned about this? Do you wear a mask?
I do wear masks. I have a lot of different masks for different occasions. I'm one of the people that, like, when this started, I was like, I'm breaking down the fun ones. Yeah, no, I have a lot of fabric masks. I have one that make it look like I have like a cat face. I have ones that are like covered in Canadian flags. My boyfriend's parents tried to buy me British flag ones because they want me to represent them. And I'm like, that's confusing. So I have a lot of masks and I wear them, but a lot of them are like, hey, look at my face. I look cool, don't I?
Yeah, but we have to feel more comfortable wearing masks. I don't know, Eric, can you talk about, are you going out? Do you put a mask on when you come to work? Because you're coming to work every day. Do you wear a mask when you're outside doing things or not?
Yeah, I try to limit the amount of time I spend outside. I think most of us do, and then not necessarily outside in the wild, but when I go to public spaces, grocery stores, places like that, and I do wear a mask when I go to those places, and I don't know, I think it's important, and as long as everybody, it kind of buys into this. I mean, it's looking pretty good right now, and we want to keep it looking good. Keep the numbers looking good, keep the curve get the curve to flatten out. So yeah, I do wear a mask when I go to the grocery store. Try to limit how many times I go as well. So,
Steph, you must have a difficult time right now. I know, having kids as well. Kids have been off school for a while and trying to keep them kind of occupied. Are they concerned? How are you dealing with your children these days with all of that's going on?
I have to tell you, like right at the very beginning of this, and probably for the first, I would say 3 months. What are we into month 4 of this? I mean, it feels like, month 40. Yeah, for the first while, I can't even say a little bit, I thought the kids were handling it very well, because my kids really need structure and they aren't very good with transition most of the time. And so I thought because they had everything kind of thrown at them, they were doing really well. They were keeping up on school stuff. But in all fairness, the last, I'd say 3 weeks have been a nightmare. So I feel like they waited. They just gave me 3 months, and now they're giving me 3 months of pure hell on earth. So I don't know. It's interesting though, because I haven't been taking them out, and I've been the one, even my husband, he's been the one working from home. So, getting the kids on a definite schedule so that they're not interrupting his work that's been probably the hardest part of all of it, because I still had to come up with a daily schedule, get lunches made, so all of that stuff stayed the same for me, simply because my husband can't be interrupted when he's at work, because he works with some, very high risk people a lot of times. So, if he's on a call, he can't be disturbed with so-and-so's, bothering me, or can I have a sandwich? So that part of it was quite challenging. And I have to say, I'm glad school's done because I personally I'm done with school. And I think the kids were equally as glad as that with that as well. But they've missed their friends, and they definitely have some anxiety stuff that's starting to kick in more so as time is going on than in the earlier days. But we're doing okay.
It's funny how life still has to go on, right? You have all of this COVID-19 and this chaos over here with this global pandemic, but your life still needs to happen. Little things still need to go on. Vacations still need to happen. Katie, you just came off vacation. Was it different for you this time as opposed to last year? How was it different?
I mean, there's less traffic on the road when you're going up north, which is always a plus. I mean, it only took 4 hours to get to the cottage. Only.
That's good timing, right?
That's a good day. That is a good day. No, but like, other than that, I feel like life has gone on pretty normal for me. And I feel like all of the negatives about what's going on, I've turned them into a positive. I mean, no one really likes wearing a mask, but I don't have to wax my mustache as much.
So you're saving on razors. That's always good.
Well, I'm a woman here, okay? We're not shaving my mustache.
I thought that's why you're wearing the mask. I thought to cover it all up.
There's something none of us knew about Katie.
Hey, we want to be
I'm
educational.
Italian, all right?
Hey, I feel it.
I don't know if you guys have been following along, but I've been watching Justin Trudeau, and I've been watching our leaders in this country and in this province really take hold of all of this. Eric, tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are on what's going on with our leadership these days amid everything we're dealing with.
I've been impressed. I've been as well keeping track of Prime Minister Trudeau, also Premier Ford here in Ontario, and I got to say, I think they have stepped up. There's always going to be detractors whenever it comes to political decisions and things, but we have seen the approval rating of our Prime Minister jump up. I believe I saw the other day the highest jump in approval rating since the Diefenbaker years, and so clearly people are thinking that our Prime Minister has done something for them, and our Premier as well. I thought, Doug Ford putting his foot down when this all started and just saying, you know what, this is what we have to do. We're taking every measure necessary, and I mean, look at the results. Ontario is our most populated province here in Canada, and the numbers we've had recently in terms of new infections and everything have absolutely been incredible, especially when you compare ourselves to our neighbors in the United States and some of the bigger states there. So I thought they've done a good job. So I've been happy with their leadership in these last few months.
Yeah, Paulina, I'm wondering from your perspective, and forgive me from on this panel, the younger of the generation.
Oh no, it's the youngest. It's the youngest perspective. It's fine. We all know it.
I wanted you to shine that light on you because being young is good for sure. See, this is what old looks like. Anyway, so from your perspective, are you say more engaged with what's happening now politically based on what's gone on than you ever have been?
So for the longest time, part of the only reason why I would pay attention to the news is because I literally work with media and with news. But I found more recently that a lot of my friends and myself, even though we are younger, we're now paying more attention to see not necessarily what's going on with us here, but even just what's happening in the world. So like I have friends that live in the States, and I have friends that are in these very stressful times where they're like, the numbers just keep going up and I'm supposed to go to work. So we look to the news to make sure that we're staying informed, but also so that we can have a better understanding of what our friends are going through, what people are going through. And I think that it's nice that the news gives us all of this information on it. But sometimes, you watch it and you're just like, oh my God, that's a lot. Why we're still talking about this? And I know it's important to talk about, but My favorite part has been when they do the like little breakaways and it's like, here's the feel good story. Here's a dog in a hat. And I'm like, I needed that. Thank you.
It's the positive stories that now you really need. You need them for sure. Absolutely.
I'm happy that the news is bringing out more positive, because for the longest time it felt like news was just focusing on here's the tragic things going on in the world. But now we're seeing videos of people that are being released from hospitals and people that are like over 100 surviving COVID and having these like parades of cars for them. And it's really nice to see that, yes, we are still focusing on the very important stuff, but we're also getting to look at some of the nice stuff that we don't really focus on all the time.
I wonder, has anyone found a new talent during COVID, like something that you kind of had over here that was a little bit, you did a little, and now all of a sudden you're like a master. I don't know. I'm a master of growing grass right now. My backyard has never looked so good. I'm watering it every day. I'm like an old man with my grass. So I'm wondering if you guys can speak on that.
I don't necessarily think that I have a talent, but I bought roller skates, and it's been a very humbling experience learning how to roller skate instead of roller blade. It's hard, but that's about it. That's all I've changed.
It's more learning how to fall, I think, that is more important. Yeah.
Falling gracefully is very hard to do.
Steph, how about you?
Well, I am curious if you could just come to my home and actually look after my grass, because I don't know if you caught the show yesterday. I was telling Katie that my front grass is now crunchy. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Like,
yeah, I can fix your grass. I'm going to have a brand new company. It's a lawn company called Half-Ass Grass. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
As far as talents, it's funny because my husband bought me a Cricut machine. I don't know if you know what those things are. They make vinyl stickers and stuff like that. So he bought it for me at Christmas time. And I kid you not, I left that in the box until about maybe 4 weeks or so ago. And I thought I should probably take that out. Now I'm kind of feeling like, oh, look at me. I know what I'm doing now when it comes to wooden signs. So yeah, that's sort of a thing that I'm doing.
Crickets are amazing for birthday cards. Like, amazing.
I haven't gotten to that point yet.
I make my own shirts all the time with a Cricut. Super
I
cool.
gotta get one. I'm adding it to my list, my COVID list.
You're
Cricut.
making shirts? Katie's making shirts? Really?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I like being crafty. I love crafts. That's not a new thing. That's just
You guys see my shirt? Can you guys read that?
No.
Eric,
Wait,
Eric,
hold
tell
on.
me what
It's
it is.
Dad. Yeah, it says Dad. D-A-D.
D-A-D.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was a Father's Day gift, so I'm becoming a better dad because I have the shirt to prove it.
Yeah.
word joke. Oh, look at that. I didn't see that.
Eric, what have you been improving in your life these days, sir?
Well, improving is probably the better word as opposed to learning something new. I've been brushing up on my guitar playing. Funny enough, you showed your shirt there. That's how I knew it's spelled D-A-D, because I've been brushing up on my guitar playing, and so I've never been better at that. And also I've been brushing up on my French as well. I've been doing French lessons pretty much every day, and it's been 95 days in a row that I've been doing French lessons now. So I've been really committed.
Wow.
Is it Babbel? I'm curious as to what you're using.
No, I use the app Duolingo, actually. It's completely free. I think Paulina knows something about that. You've used that in the past. But yeah, Duolingo, you can learn, geez, their list of languages they have now is unbelievable. And yeah, it's completely free as well. So.
Wow, that's so you can learn how to swear in French, which is wonderful.
Exactly right. I'm sure that lesson is coming up soon.
It's gonna be the only thing he remembers. He's gonna take a trip and he's gonna be like, I can't ask for anything, but I know how to say these words.
That's funny. So there's you guys, all of you have been going into work each and every day since this whole thing began. I was the one who chickened out and said, see ya, I'm going to go this way. And I've been at home ever since then. I want to know, each of you, starting with Stephanie and working our way up, what is it like coming into work every day and doing what we do? Because what we're trying to do is, of course, trying to engage and enlighten and entertain and help our listeners along. And how has that job for you guys changed each and every one of you?
Well, I have to tell you, we've talked about this, just off the air and just in person, that, you and I have been in this business for 20 plus years and have come across lots of crazy situations and times, but they're often, you just deal with it and then you're moving on, right? This has been long lasting. And because the information has been so quickly coming to us, especially in the early days, I would definitely say it's the most trying time that I have ever been through in my 20 plus years as a broadcaster. Just going through all the information saying, is that true? Is that false? Is that something that somebody wants to know? Oh, you know what? That's much too much. And they just want to know entertainment stuff. So you move on to something else, so I have found that to be quite difficult. And yet I've been proud of myself, but I have to say, Rob, I have been more proud of Eric and Katie and Paulina, who are new and in this business, relatively new, and they've been able to handle themselves tremendously through all of this, taking different shifts on, being very fluid, again, knowing what's too much information, what's enough information. And I've just been really, really proud of them. I thought they've done a fantastic job.
I have to agree from I've been listening now since March, and I have to agree with all of you. And to that point, Stephanie, of being around a while, I was through 9/11. I was live on the air when 9/11 occurred, and that was the biggest thing I had to date, and this certainly surpasses that. And I think you're doing a wonderful job, all of you. Eric, speak on that as well, if you don't mind.
Well, I think what these last few months have done for me is kind of reaffirmed why we do this. About a month and a half or 2 months ago, I got a call from a gentleman named Neil. I hope that's his name. But Neil called me, and I was in the studio. I was live on the air, and he called me just to say, I'm painting my house today. We can't really go anywhere, and I've got you on, and thank you for being on. And that, to me, has just powered me right through the rest of these last few months here, because, that's it. That's why we do it. We do it for you, the people who are listening. And if we could be a little entertaining, we could play the music you like, we can give you the information and the updates you need. It's just a total affirmation of why we have decided to do this with our lives. So that, for me, I absolutely love being in this business, and it's just affirmed that for me.
Connection is the key, and early morning connection is where it starts. Katie, how's it been for you?
It's been very different than something I'm used to. I'm a co-host, and most of my experience on air, whether it's been on different day parts, I've been a co-host. So taking the seat of a host has been challenging at times, but I have enjoyed it immensely. It's been fantastic. A job where I've always thought it was a fun job where you put a smile on someone's face, and now you're also informing people of the important things but also still trying to put a smile on their face I feel like a talent that we all have, and I've enjoyed it. It's been great.
Well, we all do a wonderful job. Our hardest afternoon drive is a great spot to feel that. Paulina, from your perspective, how's coming into work for you every day?
For the longest time, it was this weird, it almost felt like it was an alternate reality, because we're going into work, we're still doing our jobs, but we're not seeing as many people afterwards. And I'm not talking to people, because a lot of the times, whether it's my friends where their work sites will put on country or whatever the deal is, I would always check in and be like, hey, did you like this? Are you enjoying what we're doing on here? And I haven't had a chance to check in with people, but previous to what Eric said, I find that a lot of people were calling in, even to this day, just being like, hey, I want to let you know I'm really thankful for the content you guys are putting out. I'm really thankful that I can just listen to music and kind of step back for a moment and just be lost in a song. And with everything going on, of course, it's very important to talk about, the facts and all of the information. And I've only been in afternoon. I celebrated my 1 year in early January. So to jump into a pandemic was very intimidating, but I think us focusing on some of the more positive aspects, I now have a time slot during my show where I just talk about nice stuff going on, whether it's people giving gifts or doing the wine ninjas or whatever it is. It's just a little focus on that. And I don't know if I would have been focusing on such extremely positive things if this didn't happen.
Well, I think we all know the responsibility that we take on every day, the obligation and the joy that we can impart, and the connection that we can all bring. And that's going to bring us to our next phase of Country 89, which you'll find on many platforms. Details, of course, to follow. But there will be podcasting happening with all of us. So Katie and myself will do a podcast. Stephanie, Paulina, and Eric will all be reconnecting and connecting on another level with you on a podcast. So yeah, there's more work for all of us. That's a fantastic idea.
I am looking forward to it, though. It's like I say, something different that we can try, and I think it'll show our listeners a different perspective of us as individuals. And a lot of times, we've talked about this before, that you do a story or you talk about a piece of information, and you only have a certain amount of time. A lot of people will ask me that, like, who don't work in the business. They say, "How do you find your information? And how much do you know how to talk about?" And I always say to them, there's only so much you can talk about because you got 50 seconds to do it in, which is a crazy amount of time. But, after you do it for so long, it is amazing how much you can get in that 50 seconds. But this definitely gives us an opportunity to expand on that stuff, any information that we kind of feel strongly about. But also, like I say, it's sort of a little sneak peek, if you will, into another part of ourselves that listeners may not be quite familiar with. So I'm excited to share that.
And if you ever, as a listener of radio, felt impassioned about something negatively or positively that you've heard, now you can maybe find out a little more about it and not sort of be left with, well, I wonder what goes on. So we're going to extend our Country 89 love to you. And I imagine all the details will be coming out. I just wanted to thank you all for coming. Speaking of running out of time, our Zoom meeting's running out of time because I'm cheap and I don't want to buy the professional one. So I only have 40 minutes. But it was great to connect with all of you again. Great to see you all again. I love hearing you and look forward to more with all of these wonderful people who bring you entertaining radio every single day at Country 89. Catch us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, country89.com. Peace to all. Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you too. Bye.
Today's
Love your station.
best
Best music.
country.
I love my country.
Country 89.